Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to another ride on the mothership. The People's Choice, Don Rodriguez, the big guy, KG. We in here tonight. We are two of your Saturday night Wrestlemaniacs, and we're going to be here for a good time, but not a long time. So let's jump into it. I've been teasing this question for...
about a 3-minute fight. It'll take about 3 minutes. That's what Bernie Mac said. It'll take about 3 minutes.
Well, yeah. It's scheduled for 12 rounds, but it could end early.
It's always scheduled for 12. But if I got mine, and we all know the rest. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? It's been a great week. So, but it's finishing off great. Glad to be here with you. I know we're not going to be here long, so let's jump into it.
All right. Well,
question of the evening. Now, I thought about this question. I've been teasing it. Now, here we go.
All right,
everybody that's listening. Yeah, you're going to need your Zen focus. Everybody listening. And everybody's going to have a different answer. There's no right or wrong answer. I thought about this. If you had to pick a time period during your life that you feel was the best time period for wrestling all the way around the board, like if you had to pick year one and year two, and it's in between those years that it was the best, what time period would it be?
As much, and I'll probably get yelled at. I see Ben's already on there. As much as I want to say the Attitude Era, the time period that shaped my life was that stretch. I probably say from the early 80s to the early 90s for me. So it's pretty much all my childhood. From the Hulkamanias, Jake the Snake Roberts, Andres, Ric Flairs, the Killer Bees. Gotta throw that in there. Who else? Sting, the Great Muta, Juice and Thunder Liger. All of that. On the WWE, or it's like WWF back then. On that side, it was the characters that were just iconic. Roddy Piper, Jerry the King Lawler. I have the pleasure of saying I lived through some of the most iconic modern era things that happened. Even from, like I said, Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman. I got to see parts of that. Jake Roberts sicking a Cobra on Macho Man. Got to see that. Ravishing Rick Rude having people's wives on his ring trunks. Got to see that. Sting versus Vader. Sting versus Muta. Sting versus Flair. We're talking the Man Called Sting, Surfer Sting. I got to see Lex Luger slam Yokozuna on the Intrepid at the start of the Lex Express. All those things, Hulk Hogan just being Hulk Hogan, from the Hulk Hogan cartoon to eating Hulk Hogan cereal. I was already saying my prayers, so I was trying to get me some vitamins up in there, even when, didn't have any money. Like, I need some vitamins. Hulk Hogan said we had to take some vitamins. All that stuff. To, the scary things, which for me at one point for a long time was Kamala the Ugandan giant. Him and Kim Chi was scared the crap out of me. I was looking at every fat person at that point like, don't come around the corner at me like that, man. We got a misunderstanding. Jimmy Superfly Snuka jumping off the cage. Got a chance to see that. WrestleMania, the first one. Cyndi Lauper. I was a huge Lou Albano fan. I knew who Liberace was. All that whole entire time period set up the fandom for me for WWE to be able to truly embrace and enjoy the Attitude Era. You know, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have marked out when Hogan turned heel. I wouldn't have been invested in the NWO. Stone Cold's anti-establishment wouldn't have mattered to me as much if I didn't have the basis of Vince McMahon being the commentator, and then you discover that he's the boss. You know, Extreme Rules wouldn't matter if we didn't see the bull rope matches and you know, the four corner matches and the original War Games, the Match Beyond, all that stuff. None of that would matter now if the foundation wasn't laid for me. But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, based off my age, you know, I had that foundation to see that. Whereas the current generation we're working through now that they're appealing to is the Attitude Era kids that, you know, they're pushing vicariously through the Undertakers and the still Ric Flairs and the Rocks, the Stone Colds, Sting to an extent, etc. You know, that's who they're catering to now, who are having kids that will be living through the LA Knights and the Dexter Lewis's and the Miz's and you know, over in AEW land, you know, a lot of those folks over there and stuff like that. So that's my answer. As much as I would like to say the Attitude Era, it's that OG, you know, 80s and the 90s. To me, they still haven't gotten to that point of this current generation to where it was just so meta that you couldn't escape it. We have a bunch of wrestling, but wrestling was intertwined in everything. And I'll say it, thanks to Vincent Kennedy. So that's me. That's my answer.
Now, for everybody just joining us, the question of the evening is, if you had to pick a time period in your life that wrestling was the best, your honest best. Now, the People's Choices gave his, I'm about to give mine. It's just a time period. No right or wrong answer. Now, for me, from 97 all the way up until 2009-ish, I watched so much wrestling during that time. Now, granted, I grew up with the NWA and watching Sting and Flair go at it. Hated Flair as a kid, loved Hogan, but then I was like, I love Flair, I hate Hogan. And then Hogan turned heel, and I was like, oh, I still hate Hogan. But Hogan did his job so well, that's why it was like that. But I watched the Road Warriors become the greatest tag team of all time.
BJ, I see your message. Jump in. We know
he said,
got a message.
He said, here's the Monday Night Wars. And, you know, you had the greatest promo of all time was Dusty Rhodes. Hard Times promo was the greatest promo of all time. You had all the promos by the Macho Man, you know, Cream Rise to the Top, a cup of coffee, all of those. But from 97 till about 2009-ish, 2010, this is how my week went. May didn't watch Raw. We didn't have SmackDown at the time. So I may have caught Raw on tape delay from one of my cousins. But I watched Shotgun Saturday Night every Saturday, faithfully, before I watched Howard Stern. Got up on Sunday morning, watched the WCW recap before church every week. So I knew what was going on. Kept up with everything. My cousin would come over. I would read the PWIs and WWE, the magazine, or at the time, WWF. Read all of that. But then you go a little bit further. We're in the Attitude Era, at the end of the Attitude Era, when you had the more access to New Japan. And New Japan came on at 2 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I was up on Saturday nights watching. I was up cleaning the house, watching New Japan, watching Ring of Honor, watching TNA on Saturdays, and the replay of whatever happened during the week that I missed while I was at work. I watched all of that. And it was like it was the greatest thing since the egg white omelet, because there was nothing better than wrestling at that time. I couldn't function without it. I had to have it injected into my veins. That's how much I loved it. Every time PWI put out an end of the year issue and somebody was ranked, I could tell you who belonged there and who didn't. because I watched each and every one of them. That era of wrestling, from the Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression, you know, in WWE, then you had WCW, even up into the fading days, and them being absorbed in the invasion angle. You had Ring of Honor, you had TNA come up, especially with the X Division and the 6-sided ring. Man, it wasn't nothing better in this world. I got to watch some of the greatest tag team matches in my adulthood, watching Consequences Creed and Jay Lethal Consequences, Beer Money, Team 3D. I got to watch some of the best tag team. Then one of the best women's division was that Knockouts division at that time.
True.
Couldn't tell me nothing. You started a fight me in a bar, I'm putting you in an ankle lock. That's how much I was into. I wasn't going to fight you with fists. I'm putting you in a submission hold and wait for you to tap out. I don't know what he means. Tap out. I don't know what he means. Hey, you going to sleep then. He won't tap. He going to sleep. That's how I felt. That was like my crescendo. That was everything for me. There was nothing in this world better than that time period. And it's like everything dropped off for a while, and it's starting to pick back up. We went through the women's evolution, and that love came back again. And we did shows during the women's evolution and talked about how the women carried the show night after night after night. But that time period from 97 to about 2009, my favorite. And Ben says, agreed, the Dusty Rhodes, James Gang, Midnight Rider, the Great American Bash, and Ric Flair title defense, Dusty Rhodes, Brock and Arm in the parking lot, the Hogan era, the Von Erichs, 83 to 91. You couldn't beat it. And territory wrestling then was awesome. Because you had
that freaking autograph signings when you would go to buy the tickets, waiting in line at the Baltimore Arena to see whomever from WCW. You know, I met Ric Flair several times, Arn Anderson, Cactus Jack, Larry Zbyszko. There's several people that, you're just waiting in there getting the autograph. Shoot, I remember, I was so good at it that I flirted with one of the Ticketmaster ladies at the box office, so that way I could get the map to the Baltimore Arena. So when I would go see her, I could pick my seat rather, so I could say where I wanted to be, section 110. And then, I decide how high up or low I wanted to be, depending on how much money I had. We never went out on a date, by the way. But man, that game was strong to make sure wrong. I would put that work in the day before, so that way when I show up, was no issues at all, guaranteed. So, or just the times where the bus would drive by the entranceway on the back to where you could drive down into the Baltimore Arena, inside of it, where all the cars would go. Sometimes, you just see wrestlers walking out. There's one time I still regret it to the day. I should have jumped off the bus, because that was a bus stop, and gone to shake Mick Foley's hand. He was just outside, just walking back and forth, pacing. And I'm like, oh, snap, it's freaking Mick Foley. But I was so frozen, I could not yell the words back door to get the back door unlocked. Probably because I had to go to work and I would have got fired if I didn't. So we would have never met. But either way, it's the principle, of the thing. But I agree, that was a magical time, the Attitude Era and everything else that happened. So it just all depends really on, the organic experiences that you got to have. Maybe one day, I guess now he's retired, I will return the flowers back to the Undertaker that I took off of the casket before him and Yokozuna had their casket match. It's one of my pride and joys right there, from sneaking around to the back when security didn't really care at the level that they do now. So I got a couple fake flowers from the Undertaker casket. It's pretty awesome.
Now, BJ, he can tell you this, because this is something that we all used to do. Working at ESPN Zone. SmackDown came on Thursdays at that time. And I thought it was so damn cool that they used to get the daggone video feed on Wednesday. And on the Wednesday morning, we knew, was it Wednesday morning or Thursday morning?
No, it was Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
They would tape it on Tuesday. So he was pulling it off the bird, recording it. Well, yeah, actually they were recording it. and then we would watch it on the big screen in the screening room.
Mm-hmm.
So we would know the finishes, and we would get to see the unedited version. You weren't there that day when we watched the unedited version of The Rock. I'm sorry, of Stone Cold and Booker T. That thing when him and Booker T was going through the
supermarket
grocery store. Oh yeah, it was so much better. They edited that down. I mean, they were laughing. They would go, "Oh, the stuff that they did in there, man, was just liquid gold the entire time." You know, Booker T broke character, Austin broke character, and you know, we got to watch all that unedited footage. And then, you know, we would just watch it again, SmackDown, after it aired, and they were recorded in the store, well, the zone closed, and then see the comparison of it. But yeah, I remember that.
I would go home and I say, you know, so-and-so got a match against this person. Well, you know, so-and-so, nah, they're not going to win. How you know? Don't you want to put money on it? Yeah, let's put money on it. That's lunch for a week. I was betting everybody because of that. See, and that's a part of those memories because it seemed like even though we were working in sports entertainment, really, we still found a way to keep up with wrestling, even though they didn't show wrestling pay-per-views there.
Where was your bums at when I got Kurt Angle to appear at the Zone?
I think I was already gone.
No, I'm saying, where were y'all at? He did an autograph signing of his book, It's True, at the Zone.
What was that? That was 2000 what?
Oh, gosh. Let's see now. About to be 21 years ago.
2001.
Oh, 20 years ago.
Okay, 2002. I was at Ritz Cameron.
Yeah, man.
I didn't. And the thing is, I didn't want to leave, man.
You know how hard that was?
Yeah.
To get, because the WWE was not on ESPN. They didn't see it as a sport at that point, a legitimate sport. So I had to work the angle of him being an Olympic hero with marketing with Laura Poppy. She came through for me. She came through. Laura was great. So, and then worked that out with the GM and get the approval from Disney Regional Entertainment to reach out to get him to come to sign his book as an Olympic gold medalist. Meanwhile, I'm marking out because it's Kirk freaking Angle. And, you know, I got to meet, he was real chill, rolled up to pick him up and bring him to the Zone and all that stuff. So I got to see the inside of the then MCI Center. But you bums should have been there.
I wish I could have.
Then right after that, guess what happens? This is Sports Center commercials with Stone Cold and The Rock and all that stuff. They're like, oh, maybe this is kind of cool and we should do a partnership.
Well,
that's the first time the People's Choice they get no credit for nothing.
Maybe, just maybe. I always felt that I should have never left, but I had to go for greener pastures. I needed that bread.
I feel you. Hey, I had to do it too. I had to retire. So it's you know, sad things, but if need be, they bring it back. I got my Dazzle Blue, as you know. I got a couple extras if you need one. They'll be tight as hell.
That's all right. Look, long as you don't get on me about being a greedy at the top of the steps and let me work my magic, we all right.
I don't know if your knee's strong enough to be able to clean them games like I used to make you. You don't want the finger walk through again.
Look, I remember one night I cleaned the game so well I left my keys on one of the motorcycles. That's how well I cleaned the games. I couldn't get in the house that night.
Yeah.
But
you always came back in, you know, my man Alejandro and them, they was there.
Yeah. Yeah. What the hell was that girl name? God, she lived in Capitol Heights. Ayana. No, was it Ayana? It was a slim dark skin one that worked in tech. Oh my God. She used to wear Parasuco jeans.
She was in tech?
Yeah.
Oh God, that was after I left.
No, you were still there. That was when we first opened.
You had a female tech?
Yeah. I think her name was Ayana because she was the only one. It was three of them. It was her, another dude, and Alejandro. Her name was Ayana. I'll never forget that because I tell you about the incident off air, but she lived in the Capitol Heights and she wouldn't give me the time of day until we had a conversation. Then we had a conversation and it's like butter every day, all day. Ball gets stuck. I called her over there. We talking for 30 minutes because ain't nobody over there. Yeah. Go on now. But Ben says, I think Tales of the Dark Side episode 1 is Tales of the Territory. Yeah, it is. You talk about Smoky Mountain and Midwest and Florida and all of that, man, and Stampede. Those are great times. Those were great, especially you didn't have the internet to kind of fool anything. So you could just go to the next town and just go. Beautiful time. Beautiful.
That's why, now, social media is horrible in certain situations.
Yeah, because James always says that, we try to keep kayfabe alive, but kayfabe is dead.
You can't when somebody could broadcast a finish to your match in real time.
Yeah.
Shoot, you can't even, maintain. Like I accidentally scrolling through Twitter, somebody was posting the after credit scene for Black Adam. I'm like, God, it's good to know it's an after credit scene, but God dang it.
That's like the same thing with Halloween Ends. People trying to ruin that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I scroll right past it. I'm like, you
don't understand. I'm going to hit you with the Bernie Mac. You don't understand. I'm going through personal hell right now, trying not to see anything related to Black Panther.
Well, yeah, that too.
And it's going to get worse. 11/11 is coming faster than I can handle it, and trying not to accidentally see anything. I'm about to come off social media again, like I did for Endgame.
Matt, I did it for one of the early Avengers, and I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I got, because somebody tells me the end of this movie, I'm coming to your house, I'm knocking on the door, and I'm strangling you. That's that.
That's why I'll go to see the movie the Thursday before, so that way nobody can spoil the thing by accident. Because my line of work, they walk in, hey man, like, dang. So yeah.
And you know what, Ben? I seen that, Ken. I seen that story. I seen that, and I hadn't clicked on it yet. I saved it to watch it later. I gotta watch that later.
Don't do it. No, what? It will blow your mind on what that is. Because I'm okay now with them cutting all the other DC Universe stuff for this. Trust me. It's like, oh my God. But I will tell you this. As much as the haters was hating, Halloween Ends, just watch it on the Peacock. Not that bad.
I'm in the middle of it. I got, how much time we got left on that movie? About an hour?
I was thinking
we got about an hour left.
Be too much, kind of like the last Fantastic Four movie where they did too much story and not enough action.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of it, I think it was just right.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for it now. Look, if you wake up to angry text in the morning, I'm just letting you know now.
I mean, it can always be better.
Well, everything can always be better.
Psychologically, if you compare it to the first one and how much was happening in the first one versus how much the music was really messing with you, and I'm like, God dang, we spent about the first 20-25 minutes just hearing the piano. Dude didn't even get there yet. Like, can you hurry up and kill her or something? That level of just stretching it out. And then you have the action scene stretching it out. They kind of did a bunch of good callbacks. I even got to see Jamie Lee Curtis's, young face and Fear. That's no spoiler. I mean, it's, she's going to get scared. But
no.
I'll tell you.
I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on. Jamie Lee Curtis, she wound up getting her doing the handprints and the footprints in front of the Chinese theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent BJ a picture. He was just like, I was like, dog, you don't understand. I've had a crush on this woman since I was a kid. Like I would fight Michael Myers for her.
John Travolta? I don't remember the name of it, but I know that epic scene. Tell me you know what I'm talking about.
Her in Trading Places, you name it.
Oh, no, her and John Travolta.
Oof.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Her and John Travolta.
Yes, sir.
Movie.
I don't remember the movie because it was so long ago, but there's a scene in the aerobics place.
Oh, I know. I don't know the name of the movie, but I know what you're talking. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Woo.
That and True Lies, Lord Jesus.
You know, and
Okay.
on the other side of the coin was Sigourney Weaver and Alien. Watched that whole movie. I was falling asleep, and the next thing you know, like, oh snap! That's all it took. Well worth it at that point.
Exactly.
Shoot, Jamie Lee, man, you better stop playing around.
Now we got one more, and then we getting up out of here. Bray Wyatt is now back.
Hold on. Space Mountain, that ain't ended. Woo! You mess around.
All I'm saying,
man,
she gave me a shot.
I need half a shot. Like, you know, how do we start the show? I'll take it 3 minutes.
Maybe even so.
Right there.
Look,
5 minutes if it's a title fight.
Look, put a Brian Griffin in there. Look, I just want 15 minutes uninterrupted. You keep going. Well, you still got 14 left. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm good.
That's one of them times we're like, you're going to get yours first. Then I'm going to get mine. But we got about 3 minutes of playtime.
All right, Bonesaw McGraw. Bray Wyatt is now back. The emotion, the pop, the everything surrounding him returning is absolutely, positively amazing. What were your thoughts on that?
Did you see SmackDown?
I caught part of it, not all of it.
I think the psychological ride and the rumor mill is going to be even better than when he brought the Fiend in. Showing up, showing emotion, allegedly, and appreciation as Bray, but yet I don't know what this character, they call it Uncle Wyatt or whatever, but whatever this character is going to be that is injecting itself via the video vignettes, that is going to be an interesting dynamic, especially with the rumors that out of his dad's own mouth that we're going to get Bo Dallas at some point. Also with the rumor mill that could be a Liv Morgan, or it could be a what's her name, Alexa Bliss. Then All Red Everything, Eva Marie has thrown a doll talking about maybe she'll show up. So there's some interesting things as rumors about the Wyndham Six all of a sudden starting to show. Even that the Wyndham Six is 6 sides or 6 versions of Bray Wyatt. So I would akin this and Bray's, I would call it homage to when we saw Mankind talk to Dude Love, talk to Mick Foley. So, but in a modern way is what I'm looking at, what is being given to us. And now that he has, I say, a smidge more creative freedom with Triple H at the helm, I think we can have something really special, because we're going to have the time to have something really special without the need of the Fiend squashing everybody, because then you get John Cena syndrome and who's going to beat. But we're going to get some, and I agree, Ben just said it also about Aleister Black. Eventually, Rowan is pretty much grandfathered in, but Aleister Black is the X factor, because there's still some rumors as to whether or not he's tied still to AEW legally, not so much, personally, but legally. And Tony Khan is just being Tony Khan at this point. I don't understand. I mean, I get it. You don't want to see your people go, but at the same time, they're going to go. You might as well just go ahead. He hasn't fired anybody yet and trimmed the fat on the talent, because he doesn't want them going back to the WWE. Because now I was watching a video and they were, they raised a good point. For a long time, the one hat you could hang everything on in the WWE is Vince McMahon. AEW was built on the fact that we're not going to give you what Vince McMahon gave you. Guess what? Vince ain't there no more. So now the foundation of your promotion no longer exists because it's been proven via NXT that you were going up against initially that had Triple H still been in charge of NXT like it was before, AEW would have been destroyed. All those talents, they would have said, well, we tried, but yeah, we want to kind of go over here and participate in War Games. Oh, that's right. We're having that in Survivor Series. So we're not even getting traditional Survivor Series matches. We're getting War Games twice. Triple H. So now you have an adversary that is going to do things extremely out the box. Even with this Rey Mysterio storyline, extremely out the box, that has a lot of support in the locker room, both locker rooms. So it's going to be rather interesting to see how this plays out. But if Tony Khan contractually is going to keep Aleister Black, we may not have him. But if there's somebody that he can take, Bray Wyatt or Triple H, they need to steal Abaddon out of AEW. That's the female we need. The
You've been saying that for quite some time.
Totally being underutilized. Take her. I don't know what her contract is like, but she's got to be almost up. So
You've been saying that for a while.
So
now I will say this: I love the vignette that came on after Extreme Rules with Bray Wyatt, and I had to go back and watch it again. The tribute to Brody Lee. Yeah, as a grown man, my eyeballs started sweating a little bit because
he was legitimately choked up at that point too. So I mean,
yeah,
that's the first time outside of a little blurb on Twitter that he really talked about that.
Yeah,
so that we were there, and that also is something that tied us in. So when we had the video interruption, you were so emotionally sucked in. Now we got the point counterpoint. But Ben just posted a message talking about Mysterio versus Gunther. Well, hopefully we can Walter again. It's not even going to get that far. Not even going to get that far. Because one of two things that happen. If I got my way, Mysterio would beat Gunther because of Judgment Day. Just to put the belt on him, so that way Ray versus Dominic would be a championship belt match, a championship match. Or Ray's just going to get screwed out of it. One way or another, this is all lead up to Ray versus Dominic. Could be for the mask, for the moniker Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. One way or another. Or Royal Rumble could come to the head and they could do the match there, and Dominic turns, and then Judgment Day versus Ray and Dominic at that point. And then you have Ray retiring for the, go home thing. But then knowing Triple H, we could have Ray going into the Hall of Fame, and then they just beat him down at the Hall of Fame. And, kayfabe it that way. Triple H believes in kayfabe.
You know something? You speak of Hall of Fame, and we got bodies that need to be in the Hall of Fame, and I was always hoping that things would come to fruition to the point where we could get certain people into the WWE Hall of Fame that deserve to be there because of what they did for the company. And I would hope that does happen. I think Rey Mysterio should definitely be in, and it's a couple of WCW guys that got to come in too. And I agree with you, Ben, on Mass versus Korea and China. I agree with that wholeheartedly because I think China.
They're not going to do her separate.
She should.
As much as they're not, she's in, and that's the best it's going to get.
Yeah, but she should be in for what she did because she was the first
women's
Intercontinental Champion, first woman to compete in the Royal Rumble. She was okay. You put her in with DX, great. Look at what she did after DX.
Because she's not at the forefront of conversation, sadly.
She should be
a reference point, but she's not at the forefront. Just like they're trying to get woman or from Chris Benoit, what's her name?
Nancy Benoit.
Nancy Benoit, yeah. It's petitions to get her in.
Yes, and she deserves to be in. She's
for
another one.
But she's tied to.
And
the only person that could induct her would be who? David.
Yeah.
Can't say that last name. That's the problem.
Here's my thing. Hall of Fames are supposed to be based on what you did inside of the sport. What you did outside of it should not be weighted into
it should
you making it or not.
You actually are proven to have done it. Like back then, the Pete Rose, okay, I'll give it to you because he was proven to have done it. Now, in comparison to what people are doing and still playing in the sport, what Pete Rose did ain't that bad.
Ain't that bad.
Really isn't that bad. Like, it's like, okay, you suffered long enough, put him in.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
The dude got 4,000 hits. He got more hits than anybody. Come on now.
Yeah.
And but Ben say Kevin Sullivan. I had to talk to you off air about that, Ben, because I'm not gonna put that conspiracy theory out there on air. I think once before, but it's very deep in the bowels of Dingo.
Is keeping him out too. He can't go in either, because And I agree. He's contributed a lot from a lot of what happened in Florida and recruiting and the first supernatural, demonic, evil, truly evil stable and stuff like that. I mean, he's done a lot, but because of the potential thought process, what I think allegedly, possibly really happened. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna keep flashing that on the screen there, because that's what I'm talking about.
Say that. I would say jealousy.
That too.
It wasn't a triangle at that point. It was just jealousy, pills, and alcohol.
And I'm gonna tell you something. My
pills
grandmother
and alcohol shut it down.
Yeah.
And being, CB, allowing somebody else allegedly, potentially, to do what they needed to do.
But here's my thing. My grandmother used to have a saying: if 6 and 4 ain't equaling 10, something wrong. So, and 6 and 4 don't equal 10 and that whole thing. And I've looked at it frontwards, backwards, sideways, watched every special, read all the reports. When police reports are online, autopsy reports, all of that. When that stuff is online, we'll talk about that off air. But anything to close, get up out of here, because you got a hell of a morning in the morning. I do as well.
In my hand. Lord knows I got a lot of work in my hand tomorrow, bright and early. But no, I mean, we've seen the season premiere of SmackDown. We've seen the season premiere of Raw under the Triple H era. So now we're maybe 4 months before his official level of control begins, because they're still running programs for about 80% of all the storylines in the WWE from the McMahon era. So 4 months from now, then Triple H will be able to start a new building, because we know they long-term program out. So we have to get to WrestleMania. Triple H will have some spins on it, but it still totally won't be his yet until after WrestleMania. That Monday after WrestleMania is the beginning of the McMahon, McMahon being Stephanie, McMahon Levesque era.
Okay.
We put it that way. That's where AEW is going to have a problem. So Tony Khan has between now and WrestleMania to figure out the CM Punk situation, to figure out the Elite situation, to figure out how to get everybody from fighting in his back room, or just make that part of the video game, and get the women's division in order. Figure out what he's doing with the tag division, 2-man tag, because you got FTR that is your champions, and we're not really using them. To develop some more characters, figure out what he's doing with Dark and Elevation. Is it pointless, or does it have a point? Because right now we're just putting people on there that we don't really see. And then lastly, what are you doing with Ring of Honor? Is it going to come to fruition on its own channel so that way you can focus on AEW? Or are you still going to be trying to make Ring of Honor something and sacrifice people that should be on there? No disrespect to Ring of Honor, but there's no home for it. Either take Dark and Elevation and make one of those Ring of Honor because you're already broadcasting it. Say, hey, we're transitioning this over, and then Dynamite and Rampage are going to be AEW. So he's got that much time to figure that out, because when Trips decides, like he's kind of doing now, slowly but surely integrating NXT with I want to say true brands, but I'm not trying to disrespect NXT like that, because we know it's the third brand under Triple H. But once he starts slotting that stuff up in there even more, and the lines start getting blurred, Tony doesn't have a chance. And contracts are coming up that puts MJF, if he truly signed a new contract, safe allegedly, but if he didn't sign a contract, he would have 1 year left, and then he's out if he wants to be. And MJF in the WWE, when they go PG, is unstoppable on SmackDown.
Agreed. And Ben also agrees, says facts.
That's my closing, what I'd like to see.
For me, I got a lot of work to do because I got to get ready for the Sunday Rise in the morning. But before that, tonight's question of the evening will be posted in a video right after this show, all across our social media, from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook to fan base. You name it, we're going to be there. So if you haven't followed us on fan base yet, get you a fan base account and follow us there. And Ben says Raw and SmackDown has become better. Yes, it has. It actually has become watchable. I will say that.
I will agree. I watched Raw for the first time this Monday, even though I DVR'd it, but watched it for the first time in 4 months. And I was like, okay, not that bad. SmackDown's still killing, but if they give Paul Heyman SmackDown and Trips focuses on Raw, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go again.
We're going to go into that realm where it's just going to feel good just to watch wrestling all over again.
All we got to do is wait for the pieces of the pie to fall together, because Dwayne still saying, he kind of acknowledges himself as the head of the table in a recent interview.
I saw that.
Adam. There's a lot of foundation secretly being laid. All it takes is just one show up. And then WrestleMania's history.
I can only imagine how high the roof would blow off the building if you smell, and that's all you're gonna hear. That's the roof just blowing off. It's up in outer space somewhere. So Sami Zayn is the MVP.
And if I was Triple H, to show how strong his stroke would be, I would make sure that WrestleMania, if it is this one coming up, is streamed in movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's old school done through pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have Peacock, but $99.99 on your Spectrums, your Xfinities, and whomevers. Let people old school pay for it that way. Man, do you understand the amount of money that would dominate and draw?
Before we get out of here, I agree with your business plan, so you know what's going to happen. How much of that money are we going to see, number one? Because you just said that, and I know what's going to happen.
You get the memo? We already have Peacock. That's pretty much it.
We'll give you a free subscription.
Platform.
Yeah.
You still owe me money for the Thunderdome. Let's not even talk about that.
Yeah, that is true.
I tweet that man. Hey, Triple H. How about you have video monitors all around and the enclosed arena, and that way you can have the fans there?
I believe that was said here.
Yeah.
2-3 months before it happened.
Next thing you know, we got an idea for the Thunderdome. More to follow.
My wife says it all the time. She says somebody's listening to us and they're taking the ideas and they're running with them. And they are making money off of our ideas. All I'm saying is, it's great that you listen. It's great that you hear what we're saying. It's great that you're taking these ideas and making money. Hit the Cash App. You can drop a couple $100 in the Cash App. Help pay some of these bills around here. Having a podcast, as my man David Arnold says, it ain't for the weak.
I ain't got Cash App.
Well, no, don't worry about it. The business has a Cash App. Sideline Junkies has a Cash App. Okay. And it is, if you put in Sideline Junkies and Cash App, you can drop us some money. You take the ideas, you say, hey, we're giving you X amount of dollars for said idea. That's all. We want to keep the lights on in these studios. These electric bills is high.
Make sure it's not any of that pyramid scheme money.
Yeah. We like all money, but we like that silent money most of the time. So if you want to send an envelope and just leave it on the door of one of the studios and just an envelope full of silent money, we like that money that fold.
Now it has to be enough because we will sign an NDA. Just putting that out there, but it has to be enough.
Has to be enough.
So we come with those chump chains and put an NDA in the envelope.
No. But now you want
on the frame, but that's about it.
You want us on a payroll? We'll do that too. So, Sunday Rise tomorrow morning. Video coming up of the question of the evening. Damn, I think that's all we got. We went over a little over the time, but hey, that's all right.
Yep.
That's people's choice.
Do your Commanders play tomorrow?
No, we played Thursday. We won Thursday. Yes. Yes, we won Thursday. That's why I'm so happy. Why do you think I'm so happy? I am fucking great. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't they win by 3?
Well, who said that? What I say?
I'll take that.
No, that's a Me Too situation, Ben.
Yeah, that's Me Too.
Well, and I'm saying Me Too because one of us is doing it. Me Too, Me Too.
But hold on, wait. He put Liv Morgan in there, so it won't be no Me Too. That'll be just me.
Too.
Leave my woman alone, Ben. Leave my woman alone.
Oh, okay, my bad. I just realized, it's bad. Your kids open the door. What the heck, Going outside like that.
That's all our time for the night.
Somebody snatch you up. Never had time for that. Hey, and I watched that Hellraiser too.
They got a new Hellraiser?
Yeah, man. It's on Hulu.
All right, I'll check that out.
It's not as scary as the first one and the second one.
Yeah, I stopped playing with a Rubik's Cube for years because of that movie.
Who you tell? I was prepped. I was telling my kids, we got this square around here. And then the daggone movie messed around and got the thing transforming into different stuff. So now nobody better not have no daggone Transformers up in the house. Let me see some little toy or something start moving on its own, transforming into a different shape. Oh, hell no. Anybody got time for that?
Well,
Happy Halloween. It's on a Monday. It's weird. That's
right. Happy Halloween. So that's the people's choice on the Big Guy KG, as we tell you every Saturday. Diversify your bombs. And konnichiwa, bitches.